Hello everybody, it's Keith. Help support the Northeast scene and declare yourself a member today. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or your podcast medium of choice. Rate us and leave a review. Every little bit helps. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It has every podcast episode plus other exclusive content. Like and leave a comment. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at TheNEScene. Also, continue to write us at northeastscene@gmail.com. We want to share your experiences as well. And now, here's the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Northeast Scene Podcast. This is Keith.
And Tommy.
And we're back with a brand new show. It's Monday night, and we are amped. We are ready to go. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. And tonight, on the show, the highly anticipated return of Cory Brim from Glassing. Yes. We have been waiting and waiting. We have been speaking to Cory. Cory was one of the first 10 episodes, I think, and he was kind enough to come on while we were still figuring out what the hell we were doing. And we have been in constant communication. And I've said, come back on the show. And as you know, folks, Glassing has a new record, Twin Dream, coming out on Brutal Panda. It comes out November 5th. Tommy and I have heard the record.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Tommy, I'm going to go ahead and say, this is record of the year for me.
It's a contender for sure.
Yeah.
And we're rapidly approaching the end of the year, and it's still in my heavy rotation. But yes, I will say there's some other things that I've gotten around to in the world that we'll talk about in a little bit that are really growing on me. So, yeah.
Let me say this. Heavy record of the year now for sure. And it's for sure going to be in the top 3. Yeah, because I just, there's still 2 months left. Anything could happen. But we love Cory. We love the band. And we're very excited to speak with him again.
Yeah, he's always been a great guest. And my thing, as soon as they posted that they were going to put this album out, I immediately wrote on their Instagram, please come back on the show. I was like, please.
Yes, Cory was waiting until the release of the album, and we're happy to have him back. We're excited to catch up. Tommy, we haven't spoken to Cory since June. Wow. Are you ready for this? June of 2020.
That's a long time ago.
I know.
Jesus.
Yeah. That was still our old format where we just went right into the interview.
We still were kind of figuring it out there.
Well, let's see. Tommy.
Yes.
First, let's cover what's going on with us. Let's check in real quick. How are you? What's going on?
I'm doing well. I'm back in school and everything's doing great. We haven't had any real serious COVID incidents. I was offered a new position at work that I'm going to start to kind of explore what that looks like and shadowing a person that actually currently does the position. And I'm kind of torn a little bit, though. It does mean I'm no longer in the classroom. I would be observing other teachers in the classroom and giving them feedback on what they need to do better or what they're doing really well and continue doing. So we'll see what that looks like in the months to come, but it's going to be really fun and exciting. Other than that, everybody's good here. I mean, we got a couple kids with sniffles.
Tommy, tell the people what your potential new title might be.
Dean of Instruction.
Dean of Instruction. See, now, Tommy, you have to take this job solely so we can use this sound clip and drive it into the ground.
Hello.
Hello, Dean. You're a stupid head.
Homer, is that you?
That scream at the end always gets me. Because he's looking out the window at him.
I know. It's just classic. So, have you made a decision on whether or not you're going to take the position? I think you got to take it.
So here's my thing. I after this next couple months of shadowing and seeing what the position really entails, I'll be better informed to make a decision. Right now, if somebody put a gun to my head and said yes or no, I'd say yes.
That's great. I was wondering how what's the word I'm looking for? Ambitious? I was
yeah.
wondering how ambitious you are. I was wondering if you were going to do it. I hope you take it.
We'll see. I'm really torn though, because it does mean I'm no longer teaching a class.
How much of a raise is it going to be?
Significant. Significant.
Well then,
Yeah.
there you go. You've got 3 kids now.
That's I was going to say it's not let's just put it this way. The new money would not be unwelcome in the house, nor would it be not unused. Like it would
Because,
be
folks,
immediately.
As we know,
I constantly think about ways that I can save money.
and Tommy, what better way to save money than to make a lot more of it?
Yes, and
By the way, real quick, shout out to our friend Ed Hewitt.
Yes.
He is on it. When I fuck up and post an episode and something's wrong, he always lets me know. And Ed, I appreciate that. I have implemented some new quality check procedures that will make sure that doesn't happen again. Because, folks, this is a 3-man operation. It's me, it's Tommy, and it's Richie doing the sound. So sometimes, I don't know, sometimes little things will happen, but I fix it. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, we call it the Hewitt check.
Ed is on it, man.
Yo, he's
great.
on point. So other than that, everything's kind of copacetic. Everything's going really well, and no news is good news. But other than the job thing, it's been kind of really nothing really new. So how are you?
Oh, he asked. I love it when he does that.
I try. Always think of this whenever we have that conversation. The first thing is when you go back to listen to this to edit, you're going to be like, you can hear me like ramping up to like I'm about to say, no, Keith, you go first. How are you?
I know, I could hear it. And I love it. As you know, Tommy, I'm investing a lot in the infrastructure of the show. I bought the new high-powered gaming PC and I got all set to record. The thing is so loud. I was afraid the fans were going to overpower the recording, so we're going to have to do some testing after this. I'm retraining myself to play Warzone on mouse and keyboard, which is very important, as you know, and I think I'm getting there. Yeah, there's just been a lot of equipment set up, but other than that, everything is great, Tommy. I'm still enjoying life. Work is great. Yeah, everything's great. Wait, there was something else I needed to talk about. Oh, you know what? I'm going to save that for segment 3. Because there's a story about my root canal that's funny.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So I got to tell you that.
Okay.
But listen, with our time here, we want to get into some new music.
Yes.
There's just so much music coming out. I can't keep up. And there's 2 big releases that Tommy and I checked out. First, Circa Survive, A Dream About Love, the new EP. It's out right now, folks. Go listen to it if you haven't. Tommy, I love this thing. I'm so happy that Circa Survive is experimenting with their sound and trying something different. I think this EP is a big departure for them and a good one. I absolutely love what they're doing. I would like to see them push even further into this world and keep experimenting.
Yeah.
Like I would like the next LP to be a landmark experimental thing with all different types of sounds and guests, and this could be their magnum opus.
2 things about this. One, this album is growing on me significantly. I've actually listened to it probably 3 times all the way through, almost a 4th on the way home from work today.
Yes.
It does, and this is for if you are expecting to listen to Handshakes at Sunrise, you're going to be disappointed. That's not what this is, but it is a fucking awesome record, lyrically, musically.
Yes.
In terms of the progress they've made, and like what you said is like, I like the fact that Circa has always done their own thing, and they don't give a fuck what anybody says about it. They're just like, no, we're doing something new.
That's what made them who they are in the first place.
Exactly. So I think I am always just enamored with like Anthony's voice is so powerful and so dynamic that when I hear it, I do end up listening to things like just segments, like 15 seconds of it. And I go, God damn it, I have to hear that part again. And then I'll just rewind it because there's some sections that are just, they're subtle, but there are such fucking crazy changes in his voice that happen in within a 10-second range. And it's so awesome. Really, really happy for them. And I'm so proud that, we've had all those guys on and we've gotten to talk to them, and, we got to grow up with a couple of them. So,
well, we've had all of them except Nick Beard. But folks, stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say. And my favorite track, even better. Unbelievable. That song gives me feelings, man. Feelings. Unbelievably good.
I like Gone for Good the best.
Circa, we love you. Congrats on the new record. I love what you're doing. And Tommy, we have also listened to Knocked Loose, a tear in the fabric of life. Yo.
I fucking love this record.
I got to admit, now I like Knocked Loose, but I've pretty much only listened to everything once.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I'm still new to the world of Knocked Loose.
Okay.
This thing is unbelievable. I was like sitting by the river listening to the new Circa, and then I was like, all right, I'll listen to Knocked Loose when I start walking home, because that's intense and you're dodging people and you're on the subway. Dude, this thing got me amped.
Okay.
It's so good.
And they actually have like this kind of thematic element that runs through the entire record of like these. So it starts off with like, a car starting, and then there's somebody kind of shifting through the radio channels, and then there's some clear digging and some noises that go like it's
yeah. I had to check to make sure I still had the record on. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. But I will say this, there are some parts in there that I know that I don't know the vocalist's name off the top of my head. I can't believe I can't think of it. But his voice is, for, hardcore, we always think of that kind of gruff, like Cookie Monster kind of thing. His voice is pretty high. He is a pretty high tenor when he sings. And I think he does some really cool stuff with his vocals this time. And there's also a couple sections where they have blast beats, very almost black metal-ish, where like a couple of the transitions, really, really cool. And also there are some breakdowns that are fucking crushing.
Unbelievable. The first song, Where Light Divides the Holler, I think that's my favorite. And they have this really disembodied style breakdownage in it. And oh my God, that really gets me going.
There is, stay with me on this. Yes. There is a section where it is just guitar. I believe it is in Return to Passion. Mm-hmm. And it's just the guitar section. There's no vocals. There's literally nothing behind it, right? It sounds almost identical, at least in my memory, to the guitar sound from Far Beyond Driven by Pantera. Like, it's that same, it actually sounds like the beginning of Slaughtered. It's fucking amazing. Fucking amazing.
The production is great. The band is great. I really like what's going on. I love that brand of metalcore. That's like the thing right now. Now, when we were growing up, it was the more melodic stuff, Hopes Fall, Poison the Well, all that kind of stuff. But now there's this metallic, new metal tinged, disembodied, influenced, brutal metalcore thing going on. And I love it. Bands like Knocked Loose, Vane, Sanction. I love that sound. I love that style of metalcore.
And they also take a real heavy kind of like, there's a real strong nod to the old just beat down hardcore, like Cold as Life, Bulldoze, fucking just emphasis on the heaviest sections and just repetition of those. And then, all right, we did it. Okay, now do it halftime. Like it's fucking amazing.
Yes. So a lot of great music happening, and we're stoked about that. Check back in with us at segment 3. We'll have more to talk about. But right now, we're going to talk to Cory Brim of Glassing. Enjoy. All right, folks. We're here now with Cory Brim. Cory, welcome back to the show.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Super stoked to be back.
Oh, it's going great. We're so happy to have you back, Cory. We have been anticipating this moment for years now. Cory, do you know the last time you were on the show was June 2020?
Jeez, right in the thick of all this shit, wasn't it?
That was like a couple months into COVID. It was a couple months into us. Episode 16. That is insane.
Oh, dang. I'm in the top, when the first 20 shows. Okay.
Yeah. So this is why we appreciate you, because you've been there from the beginning. You came on when we barely knew what we were even doing. And we're very happy to have you back now that we are seasoned podcast professionals.
You guys totally are. You got, 4.7 stars now, and you're up to how many episodes?
We are up to 4.8 on the Apple Podcast ratings, and this will be episode 87.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Well, I have I've probably listened to 87 of them at this point, so I'm a fan and a guest, so I'm really excited.
Well, we are fans of you too, Cory. You know, folks, as we know, or as we should know, Glassing has a new LP coming out, Twin Dream. It comes out on Brutal Panda on November 5th, and we're going to talk about that. But Cory, you know I got to ask, how are you doing today?
Today I'm cool. I'm 32 degrees cool. That's a throwback to Tommy's favorite underwear at Costco, which, by the way, I hate going to Costco, so Tommy, we're gonna have to argue about that, but I do love that 32 degrees underwear.
It's so nice, right? I just bought Puma. I bought a new pack of Puma socks. I don't know why people don't buy new socks all the time. It's like buying a new pair of shoes. You feel amazing. It's just
now, for folks not in the know, aka me, what is this? Is this Costco's brand of thermal clothing or something?
No, it's just kind of like just nice underwear that's like it lets you breathe a little bit. It's kind of almost athletic. It's light. It's not too long. I don't want to wear like super long boxers, but I don't want them like too short either. And like the exit hole is perfectly placed. Just comfortable stuff, man.
Yeah, and
that sounds good.
And very, very, very well priced.
Oh yeah, I was just listening to the Beautiful Mistake episode, and I heard you talking about getting $13 pants that you're just gonna ruin. So I was like, that's Tommy,
dude. I got two. I got another pair. I got another pair. I liked them so much. I went back and bought another pair.
Oh, you went to Costco twice in a week?
Yeah. I went on a Saturday. Well, I mean, I guess it was a week and a day, but I went on a Saturday and then I went the following Sunday.
That's too much. Me and my wife, I told her I'm only gonna go twice a year now. But here's the thing. Here's the messed up part. You tell me if this is messed up or not. I'm not even on the Costco membership. My wife splits it with her mom, and then she has the audacity to make me go with her. I think she needs to take her mom if she's going to go grocery shopping there. I refuse to go there. I don't like anything about it except the 32 degrees cool. That place is hell. It's hell.
Let's get into this a little bit. Cory, why don't you like it? And then we'll talk to Tommy about why he does like it.
Well, first off, if you make me get gas there, I'm gonna blow a gasket. I cannot handle waiting in line to save what, for like 4 cents. Just sign up for like the Shell card. Just put your number to actually what I do at gas stations. You put in a phone number, just do 8675309. You'll always get the little gas discount. So like Austin's 512-867-5309. I'm not going to wait in line for gas. You know what? I got to admit, like, I guess some of the like free trial stuff there, you know, you get to like eat some of the like the Swedish meatballs. All right, I'll mess with that. But man, I just hate going there. That giant cart's too heavy to move around. I can't like maneuver it very well. I can't go too fast. I like jumping on it, ride it like a skateboard. It's just too big. That place it's not my jam.
Now, Tommy, I know you've spoken a little bit about this. Would you call it the Costco treasure hunt? Like you have to figure out where things are in the store. Give us your thoughts, Tommy.
I enjoy Costco for a couple reasons. One,
wait, I know one. It's got to be.
I constantly think about ways that I can save money. Yes, that. But we, we have. There's 5 people in my family, and we eat a lot of fresh fruit and vegetables. So we go once a week just to get bananas, apples, carrots, lettuce, everything, like all the fresh produce, right? And then also. We do like early Christmas shopping. So like, the girls will be walking through the aisles and they'll say like, oh, I like that Lego set, or, oh, I want a new sled or something. And then the next time I go back, I won't take them and I'll just go and pick up all that stuff. And then I hide it in the attic in the garage.
Well, that's seasonal, but let's talk about everyday shopping, Tommy.
I will say it is if you go with someone that doesn't know what they're doing, it can be a 2 to 3 hour ordeal.
So you're gatekeeping on Costco
true.
Now. Oh, wow.
Okay.
So you're saying you're the expert.
Well, I go weekly.
Have you ever lost your wife in Costco though? Dude, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Like I can't separate because if I do, I'll never find her again. So we can't split up, which means we have to stay together the whole time. And that makes it even longer. So that's a huge deal.
We bring walkie-talkies, so no.
You have to.
I have lost her before, and it is a little nerve-wracking because you just look up and it's 60 feet of ceiling. Like it's a fucking huge place. It's like being lost in a warehouse. You're like, fuck, I don't even know where to start looking. And then when you go down if you go there on a day when it's busy, it's like the aisles are packed. It's hard to figure out, like, especially if it's like wintertime, people are wearing a lot of clothes. You're like, was she wearing a hat? I forget. Like, yeah, that is a little nerve wracking, but I do like that my kids really like going because they like trying all the free samples and they really enjoy, like, cause they last week found Cheetos makes a big, huge, giant bag of its Cheetos flavored popcorn and like the Cheeto like pieces all in one bag. So it's Cheetos mixed with Cheetos flavored popcorn. And we went through a bag in like a week. And
But wait, Tommy, so knowing how frugal you are, don't you think you would just make your own? You get a bag of popcorn and then you just throw some Cheetos in there to like save a buck? Don't you think you could just do that?
the popcorn is Cheetos flavored.
Oh, yeah, that might be hard to do. But don't they have those like Christmas tins where you got like the 3 different kinds of popcorn? One of them's kind of Cheetos flavored, or is it different than that? Like
that sounds too seasonal for me.
That's different.
I can get this all the time. I can go
Cheetos
in.
is like a special kind of cheese dust.
This is an awful lot of Costco talk.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to say, if Costco doesn't end up a sponsor of this podcast, we're doing something wrong. We are just like, this could basically be a podcast about Costco.
Well, I'll say this before we move on. They need to just like decide to have delivery, and then I will never bitch about it again.
Yes, I will say that is something that is huge, and especially when the pandemic was hitting, like that was something we were like, oh my god, why don't they have like online shopping? The other thing I really do like about that is I've seen the same people. I've been going to the same one for 3 years. I see the same people that work there all the time. Like it's a good job. It's a good
family
job.
affair for you now.
Oh yeah. No, I know.
You're probably like Norm from Cheers when you walk in there.
Yeah, the
like,
dude-
Tommy.
Yeah, the dude that works in like electronics, his name's Miguel. Super nice dude. Helped me pick out my TV. Fucking rad. Every time I go past him, he's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" I'm like, "No, I'm going fucking great, bro." Like,
Tell him to listen to the podcast, dude.
I don't. He's an older guy. I don't think he would care.
Oh yeah,
Like, he's
We're
in his
talking
60s.
about him. He might be down to always good to hear about yourself. You know?
That's actually true. I'll tell him one day. I'm like, "Yo, I talked about you on a podcast." He'll be like, "What the fuck's a podcast?"
We've talked about this before, but I envision a video short where you take me to Costco, Tommy, and show me the ropes,
Oh yeah,
and then we could drop in on Miguel and do like a quick interview as well.
I'd love that.
I would love that.
Yeah, that's going to be in our future. But Cory, we are here to talk to you. Now, the last time we spoke with you was June of 2020. A lot has happened since then. Catch us up. What's new? What's going down?
Well, I went to Furnace Fest. So that
Wait a
was,
second. You were there?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh my God. I wish I would have known you were there.
Well,
We could have hung out.
yeah. Well, guess what? I pulled a Keith. I saw you, and I was just like too self-conscious to come say hi.
Oh,
I'm
really?
pretty sure it was you. But then again, I've never met you, but I'm pretty sure I know what you look like. And I was like, what would Keith do if Keith saw Keith at Furnace Fest? He wouldn't go say hi to him. So that's what I did. Plus, I think it was when Piebald was playing outside and I was taking like a nap. And like they were like singing lyrics about how they were, there's like some Piebald song where he talks about taking a nap. I don't have the joke queued up right now, but it inserts the funny thing about the Piebald having a lyric about sleeping and I was sleeping. But yeah, I saw you there and I wasn't sure if it was you or not. But anyway, Furnace Fest was amazing. It was absolutely lightning in a bottle, like the Beautiful Mistake dude said.
Yes.
It was probably maybe the best fest I've ever been to. And just what an amazing time. Also, I thought you did a really good job about not telling Beautiful Mistake that you didn't catch their set because I know your ass was watching Hopes Fall instead.
Yeah.
Well, we were right up front for Hopes Fall, and there's like a picture of like my buddy holding up a Jay. I think his name is the singer of Hopes Fall. Every set was so good. I had such a blast.
Yes, I hope I get to catch the Beautiful Mistake in the future. But
Me too.
Cory, yes, you please, if we're in the same state again or something, say hi. But I feel you. Like, I saw a friend of mine who I know, who I grew up with, and we were backstage, and he was like talking to another band, and I was like, I don't want to bother him. And this is someone I know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was doing. I actually, there was a handful of friends that were there that I went, didn't go with, but saw them there and kind of hung out with all weekend and stuff. So it was like a friend fest, at a high school reunion. I've heard you guys say I mean, what was your favorite set? I remember you guys did like a recap, but like, what was your favorite set?
Jeremy Enyick and the Get Up Kids.
Yes. Get Up Kids were like, that was like dead last, right? I mean, like Sunday night.
Yep.
Yeah, and then and then I remember walking by and seeing who was like the main headliner on Sunday night.
Kill Switch Engage.
Kill Switch Engage, yeah. And then they played what's that, like the song you mentioned? Forget the name
End of
it.
Heartache.
End of Heartache. Oh yeah, I was like, I'm not the hugest fan of that band, but that shit's tight. And my wife was like going crazy. She's like, this band rules. I mean, just from like start to finish, it was amazing. I remember Friday, I don't know, 4:00 or whatever. It's kind of like the first real band I was up close for. 18 Visions up in that shed stage, or the Plug Your Holes stage, I guess. It's like how like NBA jerseys have advertisements on them now, where like put like calling the stages different stuff. But that when 18 Visions played, I was like, oh, we're here. It's on. This is going down. The next 3 days are going to be just amazing. It was in line during when End was playing and stuff, and I was just so amped. Also, I remember I was going to tell you this. You messed up on the food, dude. That Friday, you're trying to get food at the food trucks,
Right.
Okay, here's what you should have done. I know you don't drink anymore, but the brewery across the street, dude, they had the best food. I ate there all 3 days.
Oh, and it wasn't that busy?
No, man, it was awesome. Like it was, I mean, not as busy as waiting an hour and a half and missing 3 bands. That's for sure.
Yeah. I am going to go to the brewery next time. I also brought food a couple days, So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. By the time I got to the sandwich, it was all soggy. But yeah. Oh, and I also want to say, I feel like I may have harped on the food trucks a little too much on this show. I don't mean to take away from the wonder that is the fest. It was a great time.
Yeah, no
Minus
doubt.
missing a couple bands because I waited a long time for food.
The truck was good. All of them. I heard everyone said that they were great, and I did try one of them later. But the cool thing about eating at the brewery was that you could, as you eat, you're like 100 yards from the other stage. I don't remember who sponsored that one.
Stage.
The Pond stage.
Yeah.
And I was like watching Code 7 and slamming a burger. So it was great. I highly recommend it next time.
Wow, I can't believe you were there. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was cool seeing. Oh, Tommy, I saw Appleseed Cass for you.
How were they?
I think it wasn't the best that I've ever seen, but I'm the biggest Appleseed Cass fan in the world, so I just enjoyed it. They played a lot from the new record, and I'm happy I got to see that because I had some bad luck last time I saw them. Their van broke down, and so only I think his name's Chris, the main guy. It was just him playing like acoustic by himself in Austin. So I was like, it was like right on the tour of their latest record. And I was super excited. And so to see him at Furnace Fest was super, super fun. And actually, I was thinking you would probably love this story, Tommy. I saw Appleseed Cast in 2000, I guess it was like 2005. And it was them and Criteria. And at this little place in Salt Lake City called Kilby Court. And this opening band showed up late, and the Appleseed Cast was like, "Hey guys, everyone needs to stick around. I know it's late, and the opening band is supposed to play before us, but I promise you're going to be stoked if you stick around." And it ended up being Russian Circles on their very first tour. And I'm watching them in a room like the size of the office I'm sitting in right now, and it was mind blowing. And it was also probably I think it was the first time I made weed, like weed brownies too. So it was a definitely a memorable night.
An experience unto itself, right?
Yeah. And of course all the bands slayed. And it's always cool to see bands like, earlier. And that was what's so cool about Furnace Fest, because you get to see like all these bands you saw back in the day. Like I saw Hopes Fall and Beautiful Mistake and Every Time I Die together on tour in 2003. I mean, I got to see that. I'm super stoked to like have been there. And I think I was talking to Ryan, who didn't get to play the Furnace Fest show, but at that show, apparently in 2003, I guess, some douchebag straight edge kids from Salt Lake like beat him up, and he had to get his jaw wired shut and fix and all that stuff. Like
Ugh.
Salt Lake had a really bad like violent streak there for a while.
Yeah, he was on the show. He told that story.
Yeah.
That was a crazy story when he was out with a Celebrity.
That's right, because he was playing in Celebrity, and like his other band, like his band that he left, was like opening for him, and I thought that was kind of crazy. I didn't actually know that until I heard that story. But yeah, that was a wonderful show. And then actually, I also saw Beautiful Mistake and Further Seems Forever when they came through, like in 2003 or 4 also. So that's why Furnace Fest was so fun for me. Got to see a bunch of stuff I hadn't seen in 20 years.
Exactly. You'll never see that lineup together again. Well, I guess until the next
I was
Furnace
going to say
Fest.
maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year.
But Cory, now you've got a new record coming out. Let's dig into this. Tommy and I have listened to it several times over.
Yeah.
We absolutely love it. And we want to hear about it from you, direct from the source.
That means a lot. I'm happy that Keith and Tommy are fans of it, and only special people got to hear it early. So you were specifically chosen.
That is right.
We were so psyched when you sent the link. Well, Keith, you sent it to Keith, and Keith sent it to me, and I was like, "Wait, is this what I think it is?" He's like, "Open it." I'm like, "Yes, yes."
Yeah, we're really excited. It's called Twin Dream. It's going to come out on Brutal Panda, and it's getting distro through Death Wish. And then in Europe, for our European people who don't like to pay lots of money for shipping, they'll be able to get it through Death Wish too. There's crazy vinyl delays right now, so we're actually at the moment praying we're going to get it for our release show. But there's lots of bands that are on tour right now that don't have their vinyl, so that's all just, everyone's dealing with that crap. But the record itself, I mean, couldn't be more proud of it. I think it's the best thing we've done. The recording process was really exciting for us because we got to spend a lot of time on it. Our engineer, his name's Andrew Hernandez. He's pretty much worked with us for everything that we've done. We got to record at this studio called Cedar Creek in South Austin. And what was cool about it is that it's kind of like a country, like Western music kind of recording studio. So there's like records on the wall from like the Dixie Chicks, or formerly known as the Dixie Chicks, stuff like that. So we were in the studio that was really, we're an outsider, to go in there. And it's been a while since I think it was really in its heyday. And so it's not a brand new pristine studio, and it's kind of like on the edge of this, it's kind of like in the woods almost. It feels like it's actually at the edge of a neighborhood, but it looks out over just like acres and acres of wood.
What's it like for you guys to go in there to record? Are they not ready for what they hear, or do you have your producer there so it's like, they know the deal? That
was kind of the deal, is that since it was during COVID, I think basically the people at the studio kind of just bailed on it. I don't think it's a super, super active studio anyways. And so our engineer was kind of able to give us a lot more time in the studio than we would normally have. And so we kept joking. We're like, this must be what it's like to be the Deftones. You just get to like spend a lot of time recording.
Cory, approximately how much time did you guys have? A couple weeks?
I mean, we were in there. I felt like for like over a month, we were going in regularly.
Wow.
I mean, it's not like 8-hour days, consecutively, but we spent a ton of time in the studio. We're coming from being the kind of band where it's like, okay, we got 3 days, knock it out, and whatever you get's what you get, Whereas it's like, hey, I'm going to spend this day just completely reamping some of the stuff he already did, like getting to use some studio tricks, being able to like write in the studio, something we've never been able to do before. And being, part of that for us is like really, it's good for us because bands write songs, we unwrite songs. We will write a full song and then just like unwrite it, just mess with it so much until it's just gone. There's not even a song anymore. Someone's pissed and we just throw the whole thing away. So being able to capture it in the moment and have this, like the magic that happens that first time you're all kind of playing together and you hear like, oh yeah, this is tight, let's do this. Some of the songs on the record were actually written in the studio, and never being able to do that before, it was fucking awesome to be able to capture that there and not be able to fuck with it to the point to where it just goes away and disappears. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I have to say, honestly, I don't pay attention to production most of the time. I'm not like a huge production guy, but listening to this record, I actually stopped and I was like, holy shit, like this thing sounds really good. You can tell the amount of care and, the amount of time that went into this.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm really glad to hear you say that. And all of that goes to Andrew. I mean, I've said this many times, but he's a fourth member. He's the timbre and the just the pristine. It just sounds super super good, and that's all him. I'm particular about my tones and whatnot, but some of the production tricks we get to do in the studio, it's been fun practicing and rehearsing for our release show because you can't exactly do what you did in the studio. So you have to like come up with new ways to kind of, how does this transition going to go when we play it live? And that's actually fun. It's a challenge for us. So, but yeah, I'm glad to hear you like it.
How do you do that thing where I can't remember the song? There's like this thunder thing you do with the guitar, like all the drums go away and it's just like layers of guitar go.
Yeah, the earthquake. We called it the earthquake. I mean, really, that's just kind of a nod to the Z string, like the bomb string, bomb note, whatever you want to call it, from Torch. I don't know if
Yes.
you're familiar with that.
That's
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
reminded me of.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of me just kind of, giving an ode to Steve Brooks there. But the way I do it, I mean, I'll tell you, I have it's a pitchfork pedal and I turn it down to 2 octaves and then I crank it at 75%. So 75% of the signal is 2 octaves down and 25% of the signal is the raw source of the string. And it's just, tuned down to A sharp. I just hit that low note and then put the octave pedal on and, and that's what it does. The thing about it though is like, when you do that, you go to that low, the volume of it kind of comes down a little bit. So we pump that up in the mix, and it's always been something I've been trying to figure out how to do live to like get it to come across. I mean, we're loud enough that it usually works, but I want to knock someone over with that. That's the ultimate goal. Is like to actually
Yes.
push someone over with that sound.
Yes. So now I'm making a mental inventory to pick up that pedal at some point.
Yeah, it's the pitchfork. The thing's rad.
Yeah.
I use that pedal for a lot of stuff too. I mean, it's got all sorts of cool stuff. You can put it at like a fifth up, or a fifth up and down, or just like an octave up, only at like 25%. And I'll do that like on the Absolute Virtue song with the kind of like all that crap. I have octave on to make it kind of shine a little more, make it sound cooler. I mean, the whole point of glassing is to sound cooler than we are. That's really what the point of the band is.
Well, it's always nice when you listen to the record and then you kind of reminded, like, this is a 3-piece. Like, it definitely fucking blows you away. Like, how the fuck do they sound like this? It's so incredible.
You know what, Tommy? That's my I have 2 favorite compliments. One is that one, and the other one is when, like, to say that we sound more than like just a 3-piece. I really appreciate that. And then the other one is when a sound guy buys our merch. That's like the ultimate.
Yeah, that's got to be awesome. So tell us, how are we going to recreate some of this massive sound live? You've played a couple shows, right? What is some of the stuff you have to do to fill in the gaps? And you have an actual 4th member now, don't you?
Yeah, so we added Sean Ringsmith of Street Sex. And if you aren't familiar with him or you haven't checked them out, amazing band on the Flenser. It was a 2-piece, like kind of industrial, 9 Inch Nails kind of meets like Full of Hell type sound. You definitely go spend some time with it. Their live show is incredible. They just fog out the place. I mean, I think they played St. Vitus and just like you couldn't even see your hand in front of you. That's the kind of band that they are. And Sean was kind of the instrumentalist behind it. And then they had a singer named Leo. So now Sean has joined us, and he is helping us kind of pull off some of the live sounds, because part of the nature of being in the studio for a long time is that you add a lot more parts than you normally would if you only had 3 days. And so part of the production is that I have overdubbed myself more than I probably should have. And so I need somebody to come in and kind of help play some of those parts. And, I'm too vain to let another guitar player ever join this project. So it had to be sent. and Sean's he's so good. He's such a good musician. He's got a project out called Luvinci right now. It's got the same kind of stuff, kind of like Street Sex. So check that out too. But yeah, he's amazing, and he's helping us pull off the live sound for sure.
That's great. And when did you actually record this thing? I'm trying to think about it in terms of how bad COVID was or how locked down things were.
Yeah, that's a good question. When we did it, it kind of spanned for a little while, because when COVID was originally starting to happen, I was like, I'm going to record a guitar part every day for like a month. And that's not something I normally do. I'm not like a big recording engineer person. I don't really know a lot about that stuff. But I had a mic, and I have this like little baby Doom rig that I love. It's essentially, it looks just like my big rig. It's a little Emperor 110 that they made me, and like a little Model T clone that's 5 watts from this company called Hex. And so I have this awesome little like miniature home thing. And so anyway, I decided I was going to just record parts every day for a month. And we used some of that in the recording. The opening track, Spire, which there'll be a video for next week, was kind of pulled from some of that stuff. So it really kind of began with me kind of just writing a bunch of ideas because I couldn't do anything else. No one couldn't practice. And then, but to answer your question more directly, like it was recorded. I mean, I think it started as early as, because Twin Dream came out. Geez, when did Twin Dream come out? Like, I don't even know when that song came out, but like it was like a year ago, I think, or something.
I think it was last summer.
Or maybe, yeah. So
somewhere around there.
Yeah, gosh, seems like, I don't even remember. But so we recorded basically the first half of it, and then kind of came in, and then that's where we spent a lot of the time in the studio kind of recording the other half of it. So the answer, I don't know. I really don't know when we recorded, but it took a long time.
Yeah, time is so strange right now. I have a hard time remembering what day of the week it is now or when things happened. Tommy and I were talking about something before the show, and we didn't even know what month it was.
Yeah, I was like, well, when we get to the blah 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 blah, and I was like, he's like, what month do you think it is? I'm like, well, it's almost, oh shit, it's November. It's almost November. Like this weekend is fucking Halloween. Like it this month just flew past, man. It's fucking crazy.
COVID really did mess with like my sense of time, because like I usually think of time in terms of like seasons and like how it feels and whatever. And I don't know, man. It's just something with time is weird. I just don't remember when shit happened anymore. Maybe I'm just old too. Who knows?
That's all gone now. Like my life has completely changed because I'm working from home. There's been so many different cycles of coping. I got deep into YouTube. I got deep into gaming. I'm deep into Twitch now. There's all these different layers to things. Cory, walk us through some of, because the last time we spoke to you was June 2020. A lot has had to have happened since then. Walk us through some of your changes or your coping mechanisms.
No, totally. I actually did have to pick one up because, the way I exercised in the past was I'd play basketball at work. There's an awesome basketball court, and there's like a hoops for lunch crew. That's what we called it. And so we go play basketball. But of course, I've been working at home for, ever since 18 months ago. And so after about a year, I was like, okay, I haven't like sweat in a year. I need to go do something. So I got into gravel biking, of all things. So like just as much as like Josh is all about like foundation training from Hopesfall, and he like does all the core and back stuff, he's like, he could talk to you about that for hours. I could talk about gravel biking for hours. I didn't even know what a gravel bike was 6 months ago. Essentially, it's just like a road bike that has thick tires on it, and they're super versatile. You can ride like mountain bike tracks with it, but you can also like haul ass on tarmac. So that's what I've been doing. I've been putting like 50 to 100 miles a week in on the gravel bike. I'll tell you one thing I haven't done. I haven't picked up the damn saxophone again. I used to play saxophone when I was a kid. Like my family's always like, when are you going to play the saxophone again? I'm like, well, not now, not during COVID. So I haven't done that. But I also have an 11-year-old or 10-year-old rabbit, and we have a 3-year-old Australian Shepherd, Willie and Waylon. And so, we go kayaking, we got a stand-up paddleboard. We've been trying to look like we're real Austin people and doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, been trying to get outside more because I feel like it was one of the things you could do was go outside during COVID. And what drove me crazy, as soon as I started getting into biking, they like shut the trails down. And I was like, well, maybe we're being a little overcorrecting here, overcautious, because I think being outside is where we all should be right now.
Nice gravel biking. I like the outdoor stuff. I need to get into more of that. I actually went outside this past weekend, and well, listen, I all right. I realize that I do something. I make it sound like I never go outside and do anything, but that's just not true. I just don't spend a lot of time outdoors. But I went and sat in front of the East River and just listened to some music. I think I'm going to try to make that a weekly thing because it was really nice.
They say if you are outside and you just like look at trees for like a few minutes a day, you're just like happier, and like there's some of the cortisol and your stress levels, like just being around trees and outside, like there's some just natural remedying effects of that. Badass. been doing a little bit of meditation too. I started doing therapy. I think that's great. I think everyone should do it regardless of like, how well your life's going. That's been super helpful for me.
Now, is there a specific reason you chose to do therapy, or do you just feel like you needed to?
I think, everyone's got their own personal shit going on and the people around them, family and friends. And it's just been a hard time for everybody.
Yes.
So I can't say it's just one individual thing, but I can tell you that it's helped with a ton of different things. And that there should never be any shame to going to therapy. One thing
Not
I will
at
say is
all.
that, not at all. And it's the only problem. The only thing about therapy I don't like is that it's extremely difficult, and the barrier to entry into getting therapy is really hard. I mean, I just tried to turn over my insurance card and just call a number and try to go that way, and it was impossible. I called like 4 doctors. They're like, "Yeah, we don't even exist anymore," or like they don't answer. They're in another town. So I wish it was easier for people, but I think it's super helpful.
Yeah, that I had the same experience trying to cold call doctors, and I just wasn't getting anywhere. And thankfully, my sister got me in somewhere. But I think therapy is great for everyone because I've found that we are so shielded from ourselves as people. We can't see ourselves. We can't see who we are or what we need to change. Like I was a full-blown drug addict. I was like 25 pounds underweight. When I look at pictures of myself from back then, I'm like, holy shit. Like, no wonder everyone was trying to get me to eat all the time or asking me if I was okay. And back then, I thought I looked fantastic. I was like, I'm God's gift to everybody. I look great. I'm awesome. Everyone loves me. And only now, all these years later, can I look back and see like, oh my God, look at me. Look at me. I'm half dead. So, it took other people outside myself to give me this information that maybe I need help. And that's why I think therapy would be good for everybody. An outside perspective is great, and the ability to keep learning and growing is great.
You should get a middle schooler, man. They'll tell you exactly what's fucking wrong. Like, and no shame in their face. Like they'll just be like, "You're bald, and your teeth are crooked, and you need to shave." And you're like, "Okay, all right."
Oh,
Shit.
it's hilarious.
All right, fuck, man.
Like, and also, like, don't wait. Don't wait until like your shit's in shambles to get therapy.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Like, just it's okay. It should be normalized. It should just be part of like, part of your monthly routine or your weekly routine. It can really help.
Exactly. It's like hygiene for the body and soul.
Cory, in terms of going to therapy, like what are the biggest benefits that you see from it? Because I've actually been considering it.
Talking to a complete stranger is something I would never do. I wouldn't even go say hi to Keith when I thought it was him at Furnace Fest. So just having it's like a blank canvas, but it's a real person. Like there's no judgment. You just can feel super open about it. And it's going to be different for everybody. But I think another benefit is just the like hearing somebody with a completely outside perspective, just listen. Honestly, it's the listening part to me. I was expecting my therapist to probably like ask me more questions, or not necessarily ask more questions, but like give me more advice. And it's not, you realize pretty quickly, they're not there to, they're not a wave a wand and all your problems are going to go away. It's really just like someone that's listening. That's not your spouse or your best friend or something, because you can't put all your problems onto your spouse. That's not fair. You can't just be always talking about the same things or all your problems to people around you. That's not what they're there for. A therapist can really help you with that kind of stuff.
It really sounds to me like it's something that allows you to kind of hold a mirror up to yourself. Like that person becomes kind of a sounding board and allows you, like, do you say stuff out loud that you go, fuck, I didn't think I was going to say that?
Yeah. I mean, definitely you can get into stuff that you don't, it's all only ever been in your head, and then you can kind of bounce it off somebody and let you know, kind of, it's like a good gauge, a good barometer of like, am I handling this right? Am I thinking about this right? Like, is this the way to do this?
Yeah. Cause when you like, I have a lot of crazy thoughts and ideas, right? So sometimes I'll talk to a lot of people, and then when you actually say the words out loud, like sometimes I'll be saying something out loud that I'm thinking of doing, and then as I'm saying it, I'm like, yeah, this isn't a good idea.
Exactly.
just like actually saying the words to another person. Once you get it out of your head, you realize, how crazy you can be.
You know what would be crazy? I wanted to bring it back to this. First off, I'm proud that you got your PMP certification.
Yes,
I
you
think
have it
that's-
too, don't you?
I have one too, and I will tell you one thing that is absolutely crazy is ever letting that certification lapse and have to take that goddamn test again. That was the hardest test I think I've ever taken in my life.
It was so hard, and you have to sit for 4 hours. Since I had to do the exam remotely, I'm in front of a computer with the camera on. And I think at the 2 hour mark, they're like, would you like to take a break? And I was like, yes, I really have to go to the bathroom. So I click yes. And they're like, do not get up. This is your break. And I was like, well, what the fuck's the point of the break? So I just clicked back and went, I literally I was out of time. I was like, I cannot hold it anymore. I have to go to the bathroom. So I just have to bite the bullet and click done. And I could not believe that I passed. I couldn't believe it. I felt like I was doing so bad. Did you feel like that at all when you took it?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's some tests that are like adaptive where the better you are doing, the questions will get harder. And so you can kind of know how well you're doing.
Yeah.
This one's not one of those. And so you kind of have no idea what's going on. And it's just someone made all of this stuff up. This isn't like a biology exam where you just know the answer. You just have to like memorize what whoever these people are made this. And it's just so like kind of arbitrary. You just have to kind of like, you just have to know and you have to study it. And anyways, I'm glad I did it. It's been helpful in like the whole career thing. Project management is also PMP. Do you know what it stands for?
Project Management Professional.
Professional. Okay. Well, see, you know more than I do.
Well, I took it more recently.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's really good skills for anybody working in a business or a corporate environment.
It's actually been helpful for glassing in a way. Like, do you remember the whole section on risk, like risk management?
Yes.
One thing that I'll never forget about PMP is like there's four different ways to like manage risk, and one of them is just accepting risk. You just roll with it. Like
yes.
This might happen, and I was like, that's how I roll. That's how I handle risk.
It's so funny that you bring this up because I constantly come back to this. Because there's like 4 risk strategies: acceptance, mitigation, and my favorite, avoidance.
Yeah, just avoid it before it even happens.
Yeah, I often try to just avoid risk and get myself into trouble. Like I'll be in a tense conversation with someone, and like there's like a fight brewing, and I'll be like, okay, on the risk strategies, I'm going to select avoidance right now, and then they get more mad.
So wait, now I'm confused. What's the difference between accepting and avoiding? Is avoiding is like preventing it from happening to begin with, or what's the difference between those two?
I can't remember. I already forgot everything I learned from the test.
All right, we need to make sure we get all of our credits or whatever, so we don't have to take that test again.
So Glassing has played a couple shows, right? You guys are back.
We did. We've actually only done one. We're trying to do that whole thing where we don't play as much in order to kind of build hype for our album release.
Oh, right. There was the house show, right?
Yeah.
And then I see a flyer for another one coming up.
Yeah.
So there's only been one show. Let's talk about this show. That thing looked amazing.
Yes. So the first show we did was at a punk compound, and they don't even really like do shows very often, but they kind of do one here and there. It's really just a really sweet couple that live at this awesome house, and it's perfectly built for house shows. And it's more of like an outside house show. So you're not inside a house. And there's like a container ship in the backyard. So like people were standing on that. There's like a balcony, people were standing up there, and and the stage is actually kind of sunken. So you kind of look up and just surrounded by all your friends. It was like the vibe was electric. It was so fun. It was so happy. Everyone was so happy, and we were just glad to be back. It was like definitely one of the best shows we ever played in Austin, and it just felt really good to have everyone there. And that was with Exhalants and Easy Prey. And I think you guys had the dudes from Exhalants or Easy Prey on the show recently with Mallwalker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great band. Easy Prey. Yes.
Easy Prey's fantastic. They're in the studio right now, about to do a new record. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. And Mallwalker is something that I've been kind of working with them on too. So I think I'm joining them on guitar. We had one practice, and it was just all smiles for miles. We just had a great time. Like, we love that upbeat, happy, emo, pop punk stuff. So that's a really fun outlet too for us.
Yes. They did mention that when we had them on the show, and I'm so happy that members of two of my favorite bands will be joining forces.
Yeah, so there'll be more to come on that. And then, so the release show that's coming up. So if anyone's in Austin listening, definitely come out November 13th at Hotel Vegas. And it's one of the coolest venues. I was there last night, actually. I saw Piron. It's like this crazy band from Brooklyn up in your neck of the woods, Keith. Like super prog death metal stuff. So that was insane. Great venue. The release show is going to be with Godshell, a really awesome young band in Austin, kind of like Page 99, kind of real noisy, really angry, pissed, like kind of like sumac, but faster, super good shit. Yeah. Grivo, it's like Devo, but sad is what they say. Hilarious tagline. Grivo. They're putting a new record, I think on Church Road Records. They're close friends of ours. Beautiful, amazing shoegaze. I think they're about to go on tour with Slow Crush from Europe, maybe Belgium. They're killing it. And then also a band called Communion, just awesome, kind of slow, dark, kind of almost westerny kind of doom. So it's just all friends, hand curated, going to be super fun. And I'm very, very much so looking forward to it, whether we have our vinyl or not by that point.
Yeah, I hope the vinyl gets there on time. There's two things I see on Instagram a lot, which makes me sad. Vinyl backups. There's a lot of vinyl delays for everybody. And there seems to be a swath of bands getting robbed lately and just losing everything. Like all their equipment gets stolen. I just see story after story every week, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, the Russian Circles one was really sad. I mean, I think they even did it right. They got they said where they stayed. It was some kind of random town in the middle of nowhere, like 2 hours away from where they played, and someone still got them. I mean, that's the horror of being on tour. I mean, tour is not easy already, and then to go and have to deal with something like that. I'm really happy they have good fans that were able to make it better for them, but that shit just sucks.
It really does. So if you're out on a tour, Cory, what would you do to help prevent that? Now, some of our friends, they would just always have somebody sleep in the van with a baseball bat, no matter where they were, no matter what the temperature was. And a couple times they had to chase somebody off.
Oh, God. See, if I was the one sleeping in the van, I don't think I would. They would just take one look at me and be like, "Oh, we got this guy." Like, it wouldn't even matter. Like, it wouldn't help for me to be in the van. But here's what I would do. Here's what I'm going to do. So those Apple AirTags, have you seen these? So I have them in my cabs, and in my guitar case is kind of hidden, so I could kind of track them.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about this with the AirTags, taking the back paneling off the guitar and putting it in where like the pots are.
Yeah, so the only thing is, how like you put your phone like on top of the microwave or something like that.
Oh, it makes the
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't put an AirTag on inside like my guitar because I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but I think like the case would be good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not inside the amp. I think that's one thing I won't do is like put it in the amp. That's got to be something weird.
There's got to be some type of signal. Like, yeah. It's got to fuck stuff up.
Maybe it'll make my tone even better, like the new earthquake sound.
Yes, you're gonna have like the glitch, like when you used to know like your phone call was coming because it came through the speakers first. That.
Oh yeah, we get radio stations coming through our amps sometimes at practice.
I love when that happens. It's always some random station that sounds really cool that you'll never hear again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so what are those things called again? What tags?
Apple AirTags.
AirTags. This is what people need to get on, yeah.
I got them for my mom for her keys because she loses her keys all the time.
Yeah, same here. I got that for my mom for Christmas.
I'm going to be 40 in January, and I was getting scared. I thought maybe I should check into the doctor because I was just forgetting stuff like crazy. I was in the shower, and I forgot if I had cleaned myself already or not. Does that ever happen to you guys?
I can't say that happens to me, but I have decided that I'm gonna graduate from the loofah. Is that what those things are called?
Yes.
Yeah.
And get something else. Those things, I'm tired of them. They're just gross, and they never dry completely, and I'm done with it. So, any advice on that? But I do remember to clean myself.
Well, I just buy body wash, and I just go right into my hand.
Oh, so no, I got to scrub. I had to scrub myself. I buy one of those things from the dollar store. They look like natural sponges, but I'll buy like 20 of them, and then I change them out every week. Like when we clean the shower on the weekend, I literally toss it in the I toss all of them in the garbage. Everybody's got one. They're all hung up on little, like, what do you call those things? Those 3M like little hooks that you put up.
Yeah.
Like we get the waterproof ones. We put them up in the shower. Everybody's got one. At the end of the week, everything gets tossed.
See, I need something disposable like that because this loofah, I swear, it's probably been in the house since we bought the damn thing like 3.5 years ago. And it's always clean because it's always cleaning, right? No, it's disgusting. So I need something disposable.
Dollar store, man. Dollar store, and they have these things. They're not natural sponges for sure, but they look like a natural sponge, and they're coarse on the outside. I like a coarse, like, scrubbing when I go to take a shower.
Yeah, I see. That's where I'm coming from these days, especially after all the gravel biking. I need to scrub. The hands aren't cutting anymore. Which, by the way, Keith, I have always been a hand scrubber. I can't do it anymore.
I actually meant to ask you this: with like riding on gravel fairly often, have you fallen really hard yet?
Not really, but it's funny because we did have a spill in Birmingham. So also, Keith, pro tip, we rented bikes. We got the last 2 bicycles from this awesome shop in Birmingham for Furnace Fest. And so then they had a valet there. So you could just park there. They'll take care of your bike the whole day. And then you just go pick it back up. And so the last night, they had this cool event at Furnace Fest where it was like, you know, the dudes from Face to Face did an acoustic set. Hot Rod Circa, which is one of my favorite like emo pop bands from back in the day. Who else was there? Like, the Defeater. Defeater played like an acoustic set. So anyways, like late at night, it's a Sunday at like 2 a.m, and we're riding our bikes back, and there's this downhill, like super steep street, and my wife is like trying to like look at her phone to see how to get back to the hotel. And also, pro tip, never squeeze the front brake when you're going downhill.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So, yeah, we had a spill recently, and her leg is still, like, pretty black, and she's got, like, this kind of hard bruise. It hasn't gone away yet, and it's been, like, a month, so we're a little worried about that. So, yeah, don't use the front brake if you're going downhill.
Wow. Yeah.
I just always know, like, when we go to the skate park in the morning, like my daughters and I go, and like the first thing we do is we take out the broom, because nothing is worse than like loose, even like tiny little fragments of like rock. Like if you just hit it the wrong way and you're leaning back or leaning too far forward, you just completely fucking lose your balance. Like it just slides out from under you. And I was like, all I can think of is you leaning a little bit to one side, and then the gravel isn't as secure as you think it is. And the next thing you know, you're picking out gravel for 3 weeks out of your arm.
Well, I can see you now, Tommy. Like it's 4:45 in the morning. You're out there sweeping the whole skate park.
No, you know what I did? I bought one of those like little we have one for the house. I just started putting it in my trunk. I have one of those rechargeable leaf blowers that has like the rechargeable batteries, kind of like a drill, like the battery you put on the bottom of a drill.
Yeah.
So I just bought one of those at Lowe's, and I put that in the trunk, and I just make sure the battery's charged on Friday night. So when we get up Saturday morning, I just go to anywhere there's like the curvature at the bottom of the ramps. I just blow the whole place out.
Dude, I bet you those skater kids think that like the city hires that bald guy, takes a leaf blower out to the skate park.
Yeah, there's that fucking old dude with the flannel fucking blowing this place off again. Thanks, old dude.
I love it. Cory, you seem like you really know us. I love it.
No, I'm telling you, like every Monday I put on the pod. I'm a fan of the pod.
Yeah, we've been talking about this in recent episodes. We forget that other people actually listen to this.
Heck yeah, man. I've been trying to turn like all my Austin band friends onto you guys. It was super cool to see Mallwalker on. So yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. I love you guys. You do kind of get to know you a little bit from listening to you guys so much, you know? It's pretty fun.
When you hang out with us in person, it's pretty much the same exact thing.
Yeah,
I can imagine. The one with Tommy's wife was funny too.
Tommy will be talking someone's ear off, and he'll be like, all right, let's go. Come on.
But you can't cut it out in real life.
No, there's no editing in real life. That's the worst part. And also hanging out with us, there's a lot more Simpsons quotes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lots more.
There's a funny moment. It was like right before I was leaving Tommy's house when I went to visit. It came down to Tommy had Wikipedia up, and he was just reading the names of episodes.
Then you're like, okay, I got to cut this night short.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of Simpsons quotes, and one thing my boss always says is like whenever I'm like if I have a presentation and I'm like trying to be charismatic or something, he'll be like, "There's Cory again with that Chief Wiggum charm." And I don't actually know what episode he's talking about, but I roll with it. So that's my Simpsons quote contribution.
So Cory, I mean, Glassing is gaining some heat. We've got a amazing new LP coming out. Have there been any interesting offers, interesting tours, interesting situations creeping up?
Yeah, things are definitely in the works. I'm not sure, what all can be talked about right now, but I think you'll see us busy next year for sure. We have a new video coming out. I guess if you're listening to this, it would be like on Friday. So the release date's November 5th. We're really excited about that. Super cool, good homie named Alex Penrose and Drake Howard helped us put it together. So I think the video it turned out really good. We're really proud of that. In terms of like shows and tours, keep your eyes peeled. There will probably be some festivals and some touring for sure in 2022, and more details to come on that. But we're ready to hit the ground running. We've been sitting on this for a little while, like a lot of bands have, and it's kind of hard right now because a lot of bands want to get out there. There's bands that put out records, before the pandemic and never got to tour on them. During the pandemic and never got to tour on them. Putting them out now and want to tour on them. It's never been more competitive. There's never been fewer venues. Booking agents are overworked. And it's just really, the environment right now is really hard for a band, especially like one like us. So we're just going to, kind of wait our turn, do what we need to do. And we respect that there's a lot of other bands trying to get out there too, and just try to play, play it clean and be patient.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good attitude. Do you ever think about the old days? I think about you sometimes, Cory, because I remember the first time you were on the show, you said you were new to Austin and you were going out there playing solo noise gigs by yourself and just trying to put things together. Do you ever think about the old days and now you're like, wow, now I've got it going on?
Yeah, no, I definitely reflect and feel grateful of the place that we were able to take glassing and music in general. And it's funny you bring that up because I've been in Austin for 12 years now. But thinking back when I first got here, I was trying to start out playing ambient sets, and this one set I played, my wife brings it up all the time because she thinks it's hilarious. The noise scene it's a weird place, and I kind of only did it because I didn't know anyone else yet. And I remember one time I just played a set and there's just this woman who sets up a table, puts her laptop on there, plugs into the PA and just plays bird sounds while staring at her computer for 45 minutes. That was where I was coming from. And for the record, it was good. Like, no shade on the bird lady. She was great, but it's a little bit different than what I was hoping to do. So I'm definitely happy to be playing with people behind me and to the side of me, filling out the sounds and really making good music with me instead of me just kind of playing with my pedals. But I do have, I still kind of been doing it lately. I was able to play another yoga set. That's one thing I do kind of as a side hustle. It's actually the opposite of a hustle because it's at a yoga session. But basically I play ambient music, just turn on all my reverb pedals and I'll play like, Amazing Grace 1,000 times slower than it is, or like the Jurassic Park song with like a different notes, or I'll just straight up play one of This Will Destroy You's riffs, like in a different key or something. And it's really fun because you got, there's sometimes more people there watching those ambient sets doing yoga than there are coming to glassing shows. So that's always fun to do too. And then playing with Mallwalkers is starting to get really fun. We had a rehearsal that was a blast, so we're going to do that. And then also doing Zyclops, which is the other kind of sludgy band that I'm in. So just been busy, but yeah, like it's nice to like look back on when I moved here and I was, playing with the bird lady, and now I'm kind of doing some stuff with more people, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, you have all kinds of stuff going on, and I was just talking with a friend recently. Not 2 years ago, I was still alone a lot of the time and just trying to figure out what to do. What am I going to do? And now a mere 2 years later, Tommy and I are neck deep in the podcast and we get to do this thing every week. And, I'm struggling to look for free time rather than trying to fill it all the time. And I often look back and I'm like, wow, things are really great right now. And that's cool.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I honestly, there's only 2 podcasts that I listen to every week. And it's the Northeast Scene and the Metal Matters. I think that was it Burdan and I forget the other guy who started doing the Metal Matters podcast. It's an awesome one too. But I mean, I listen to y'all every week, and yeah, you guys should be proud of this show. It's awesome. I feel like sponsors need to get up in here, and y'all need to start turning this into a full-time career because it's y'all have something special. I love this podcast.
Oh, that is the goal.
Costco, are you listening?
Costco, where you at?
I'll get a Kirkland tattoo. Fuck it. Like, let's go.
Oh, there's something I wanted to ask you. How do you balance band life and work life, Cory? Now, I related to you in that I don't think you ever stopped working and just went out on the road full time, that type of deal. You've always kind of balanced work and the band. How do you make it work now? Because you're involved in a lot of projects. How do you make it work with your work schedule?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think what I have going that's maybe a little bit unique is that, especially listening to this podcast and hearing a lot of your guests who were doing this music stuff so young,
Yes.
I mean, it always blows my mind to think about pick any given band, the Hopes Fall dudes, they're what, like 19 or something when they're doing this stuff. They're playing the first Furnace Fest when they're like teenagers.
The idea of being 19, 20, 21 years old and already being a tenured musician who has done several tours and having this machine behind you that you created is unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. I wasn't in my first band until I was 24 years old.
Yeah, and I mean, and same with me. Like I didn't, I guess that's kind of my point to answer your question in roundabout ways that I guess I didn't really get into an established, music thing until later in my life. And so it made it to where I was always definitely going to shows. And like, that's high school for me was nothing but going to shows, going to see Planes Mistaken for Stars when I was a kid. I mean, all that just helped me get to where I am musically in a way, but also it not making music at a high level early on allowed me the time to kind of develop a career. And so that being established and not having to, because there's nothing harder than like having to start afresh in a career, like after you've been a musician for like 15 years and now you're 35 and like, well, shit, what am I going to do? I mean, that's got to be really, really tough. And so I'm kind of on the opposite end of that, where I've always been a music fan, but I had time to develop a career. And so being, 10 years into my career, it makes it a little bit easier I'm already doing it. It's the hustle is kind of, I worked my ass off to get where I'm at, and it's kind of a sustaining mode for the career. And so the band stuff, I feel like I have a little more time where it's a little easier to deal with it because I have the stability in the work life, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. And I have found the same thing. I busted my ass to where I had no free time or no energy to do anything, but I've gotten to a point where I've moved up far enough that I have a little more freedom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
like
do.
They just trust me to get things done, and I always get them done. I'm not traveling as much, so I'm home more. I work from home. So, after work at night, I have time to do the things I want to do. And I make enough money that I can afford the software and the computers to create the things that I want to create.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of the way it is for me too, that, at this point I don't have to have someone micromanage me every little bit. I'm not, at an entry level position, so that I do have that level of freedom where I'm trusted. I give results. I'm good at my job, but at the same time, the other part of it is like with music, the goal of Glassing is not to make money. I learned early on, my dad was a musician, and, just putting all your eggs in that basket, it's a gamble, and so I kind of, he kind of taught me, don't do music for money, because it's not always going to work out. I know this came up in the Beautiful Mistake episode last week. And so for me, I was able to say music's never going to be about money for me. And I think that makes it a little more, there's some integrity in our songs and the way we go about it, because we don't expect to be huge anyway, based on the style of music we play, but the goal is very clear with us, and it's to have fun and make cool music that we would be excited to hear.
That's a beautiful philosophy. I love that.
It works. It can really work and believe me, I wish we lived in the Netherlands or somewhere where we could get paid to do music all the time. We would love to do that. But the reality is that we don't live in a country that supports that. And if you go about your life saying, I'm not going to do this for money, and you can separate the two, I've found that it's easier for me, and it's been working.
Yeah. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. In terms of creative pursuits, for it to be a long-lasting thing, you really have to do it just because you love it. You can't, and I used to think that was a cliche, but it's true. You can't do it thinking, hey, I'm going to get big doing this, or hey, I'm going to make some money doing this. You have to do it because you love it.
You do, and also the ego that comes along with a lot of the music stuff. It's super competitive, and then you wrap yourself up in it. And like, if I'm not on this tour, I'm nothing. If I'm not on this show, then we don't mean shit. And that part of it. And there's a lot of vanity in music too. Let's just be real. That's kind of part of it. And like the whole rock star, persona. That's kind of comes along with it. And I try to be. To make sure that I'm never that concerned about it. Like, I don't need to go read every single review and like go through all the comments and all that kind of stuff, and just know that what I made, I stand behind and I feel good about it, and try to like focus on the good parts of the music and do it because you love it. And if not, try not to focus on the shitty parts.
I actually saw an interview with Billy Corgan, and I think it might have been on Stern, or maybe it was on Joe Rogan, and he was talking just in general about the music industry. And one of the things he said was like, there's so many people now that their music is immediately going to digital download, and they're basically making 0.07 cents on every stream. He's like, if you think you're going to get rich from this, you're in the wrong business. He's like, but it's so intoxicating because you could be famous. You could be that one guy that makes it, or that one band that makes it. And he goes, and the worst part is there's bands that make it that you think live this lavish lifestyle, and they actually don't. Or they make the money that they've made not from selling records. It's not from that anymore. And he's like, if you think this is, oh, well, the internet has done this. And he's like, don't fucking fool yourself. This was intentionally designed to do this. Like the industry is an awful soul eating thing. Like he's like, so, be very careful if you think that this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life, because you may be very disappointed when you find out how the sausage is made. Totally.
And I don't want to have to be big on TikTok in order to make my band like financially stable. That's why we work jobs so we can make money, and we make music because we like making music.
Exactly. I see things shifting to TikTok, and I've literally thought to myself, if I have to make a TikTok to continue to do this podcast, I'm just not going to do it anymore.
There's a teacher at my school that has a TikTok that has like 1 million+ views. And I'm like, yo, you get fucking paid for that? And she's like, no. And I'm like,
see, even then, this is clearly not worth it.
And she's like, no, but like people always, she goes, I have thousands of like texts from people, like, direct messages that are like, hey, would you like to be a brand ambassador for this? And she's like, I've gotten a couple free things like t-shirts, sweatshirts, that kind of shit, yoga pants. She's like, it's not worth it.
If anything that, if we'd ever be a sort of brand ambassador, it would be for my dog. I posted a picture on him on Reddit, and then like I got a free dog bowl in the mail after I responded. So, get a cute dog and you're all good.
Here's a question going back to the weird competitive nature of music and vanity and all that stuff. Have you had any weird beef with any bands now that Glassing is picking up some steam?
No, I don't think we've had any like beef with bands. There's definitely like, there's bands that I'm not interested in playing with in certain kind of venues and styles of like music business. The pay to play stuff, we'll never fuck with that. We kind of try to stay away from that. I think we're really lucky in the community we have in terms of like Brutal Panda Records. They have a great ear, and they handle their business really well. Bob and Mike are two of the most like genuine dudes I've ever met. And then, getting to work with Death Wish now is just kind of a dream come true. Honestly, that's super cool. And the way that worked was they're just pretty much picked up most of Brutal Panda's catalog and just said, we're just going to help distro it. And it just kind of shows like they're super hardworking dudes that work at this label and good people. So it's kind of hard to have beef when we try to surround ourselves with the right crowd. So it's been pretty easy to avoid that, I'd say.
Cory, we have something special planned.
Oh,
yes. For the end of this interview. Are you ready for this?
I'm down.
All right, folks.
Yes!
It's time to play Who Would Headline?
Oh, I remember this. I'm down. I'm super down.
Now, folks, this is the game where we take two bands, and based on total followers, total plays, and overall legacy, we have to guess who would headline. Now, Cory, are you ready to play?
Yes. You guys haven't done this since probably like episode like 36 or something. I'm so
for
stoked.
sure.
Exactly. So we bring it out for special occasions, of which this is.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Now here's our first question. Cory, who would headline? Holy Fawn,
Holy Fawn.
or This Will Destroy You?
Damn. What year is this question being asked in?
This is the year of our Lord 2021. Who would headline? Holy Fawn, or This Will Destroy You?
I'm going with my boys on Holy Fawn. Final answer.
I'm sorry. The answer is This Will Destroy You. Now, Holy Fawn are quickly rising superstars, and they are excellent. However, if you weigh total followers and total plays, This Will Destroy You is still on top.
Damn. I love you, Jeremy and Chris and Andrew. I'm sorry, boys.
All right, next question. Who would headline? Alcest or Wolves in the Throne Room?
Oh, shit.
That's a really good one, Keith.
Damn, Keith. You like woke up from a dream and you were thinking about this question. That's how good it is. You had to like write it down in your notes app.
You're absolutely correct.
All right. What country are we playing in?
We are in the United States of America.
Okay. All right. Is it a weekday or a weekend?
Let's say Friday night.
Okay, Friday night. Wolves in the Throne Room just put out a new record, so I'm thinking, that gives them a little bit more of that boost, but Alcest is from France, and so you don't get a chance to see them very often, so you might say them. I'm going to go with Wolves in the Throne Room. Final answer.
All right, Cory, your final answer is Wolves in the Throne Room. And we want to know who would headline, Alcest or Wolves in the Throne Room. And Cory, you are wrong.
0 for 2. You know what? I would rather go 0 for 2 than 1 and 1. So I'm consistent at least. Damn, those were good ones though.
Now, I looked at total plays for Alcest, and they just dwarf Wolves in the Throne Room. So I'm going based off of that.
That new Wolves in the Throne Room album is super sick though.
Yeah. I mean, these are all great bands. I'm just going by the numbers, folks. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. I love this game. I'm happy you brought it back.
I've got one more for you, Cory. Are you ready?
Do it. Yes.
All right, here we go. Now, this is going to be a tough one, but you have to remember the rules of the game. Question number 3. Our final question. Who would headline? Glassing or Easy Prey?
Glass Daddies all the way, baby. Final answer. Glassing.
Cory, you have selected Glassing,
Yes.
and you are right.
Yeah. Suck
You
it,
do
Easy
not
Prey.
play a show unless you headline.
Oh yeah, I remember that. No, actually, once we hear this new Easy Prey record, it's going to be up for debate. We'll see.
It could flip.
It could flip. It could
Yeah.
flip. So we actually had this debate the other day because we're talking about, that primetime slot. When it's your album release show, do you play dead last? But it's 4 bands. You take that third slot where you kind of like get the most crowd before people kind of leave, but everyone's there. You know what I'm saying? Here's what we decided. If it's your album release show, only the big boys play last. You don't play third. No, you don't do that. You play last. You suck it up. It's your album release show. So that's what we're doing.
That's it. Well, Cory, we want to thank you for joining us for another exciting rendition of Who Would Headline, the game where we take 2 bands and we have to decide who would headline. We hope you join us again for a future rendition. And Cory, your departing prize is a return pass to the Northeast Scene podcast anytime you would like, because we love speaking to you and we love playing Who Would Headline.
I'm so happy you guys brought that back. You know what else I love, by the way, is your like pop culture minute thing that you spring upon Tommy every now and then. That shit cracks me up.
Yeah, you see the most fun of doing that is how much Tommy hates it.
You feel like he never knows, like he's blindsided every time you do that.
Yo, I got Olivia Rodrigo one though. That one I fucking nailed. I knew that.
Yeah, now Tommy, you've actually listened to her. I still haven't done that.
Yeah, well, remember we had that whole conversation about how she had to pay Paramore a bunch of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Taylor Swift now too.
And Taylor Swift?
Yeah, it's Taylor Swift. There's another person too. I forget off the top of my head, but it's there's a legal term for it, but really it comes down to like if you have been inspired by a song, you owe them writing credits because it's the same chord progression. It was the same vocal pattern. It was like there was a lot of things that were really, really, really similar. So
do I have to pay Hum for writing my last EP?
it's a very real possibility.
Damn it.
Dude, Keith, I love the opening song for this podcast, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, what's it called?
It's called Uncomplicated.
It's great. I love it. It's perfect for like a pod intro, but it's also perfect for like a band song. I love it.
Yeah, it works either way. Well, Cory, let's recap. All right, folks, we're going to pick up Twin Dream on Brutal Panda Records. It comes out November 5th. We want to get that. We want to buy merch bundles. We want to buy vinyl. We want to get it all. Right, Cory?
Yes, please. We actually just pressed some sweet new shirts, and we're going to put up some new ones when the album comes out, too. Shout out to our screen printer who does all our work. So, yes.
Yes. And Cory has joined forces with Mallwalker, an
Yes.
excellent new band out of Austin and a Northeast scene guest. We can expect more from them in the future, yes?
Yes, if you like Get Up Kids, American Football, Appleseed Cast, fun, happy stuff, maybe like Tiny Moving Parts a little bit too, that kind of jangly, tappy, upbeat emo shit, then check out Mallwalker.
Oh, it's so good. I'm really looking forward to more from Mallwalker. And Zyclops, what's going on with that?
Yes, Cyclops has taken our sweet ass time, but we're doing it. We get together a couple times a month, and I'm really excited about it too. It's good. I think we're writing the best material we've written so far, but definitely not rushing it, not jumping out and playing shows just to play shows. Ryan, who's kind of the main songwriter in Zyclops, is very particular about like, let's get a nice set that we're super excited about. That's new, and let's take our time. There's no reason to just rush out and play shows. So I respect that. So good stuff there.
Excellent. And is there any other future venture or new project we haven't discussed that we want to cover in the end here?
I don't know. Maybe I'll hit up the Bird Lady and we can do a little ambient collab or something like that. It might be good. No, just doing the yoga stuff too. I don't really advertise that stuff. It's just kind of like, what am I going to do? Get a website like CoryBrimYoga.com? Like, I'm not going to do that. So it's just kind of when that pops up, I do that. But it's definitely really fun. In fact, I'll leave you with this fun story. Chris from Easy Prey, he sings in Easy Prey. His wife, Colette, awesome woman. She is kind of the person that I would do the yoga sets with. She does the instruction and I do the music. And we knew each other before she met Chris in Easy Prey. And so that's a fun little Austin people story for you right there.
Cory, just a little bit of you listen a lot. Have you heard us bring up the restaurant near my house, Quaker Steak and Lube?
Yeah.
Okay.
I laugh because, yes, it's not the first time I've heard you say that.
Phenomenal. Well, drove past the other day. You know what the restaurant is now called? Name this bar and restaurant. It's literally a radio contest because so many people complained about how off-putting the name was that 97.5 is now saying, you can name, do you ever want to see your name in lights? You can name this restaurant and win $100 gift card. In my head, I'm going like, wait, you name the restaurant and all you get is $100? Like, the fuck? Like, that's all you get?
Oh,
But,
no.
yeah, Quaker Steak and Lube was such a massive failure. Their restaurant is now called Name This Bar.
Thank God.
Are they still gonna have steaks and lubes or whatever they serve there?
Yeah, tons of steak and tons of lube. Like, but you know,
Okay.
Tommy, I literally didn't believe you when you told me that. I had to go and look it up. And then I was like,
of all the things to make up, why would I make that up?
I just couldn't believe it because we used to drink there when it was the Great American Diner and Pub. And I don't know, I just couldn't believe that it got reduced to Quaker Steak and Lube.
It's just, I go back to it every time. Why would you put the name lube in the name? Like I
It's
get
so weird.
it's so off-putting. It's so gross. But now it's called Name This Bar. So
I would like to think that we had a hand in that, Tommy.
I think they fucking did it themselves. Naming it that was the fucking. I can't believe someone signed off on the paperwork. Fuck, man. Jesus.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Is the lube part like oil, like your car? Like
so it's car themed.
What is?
So it's
Okay.
it's car themed, and like they would always park like they would have like on the weekends they would have like hot rod shows and stuff like that, and they have a big back parking lot, so they would have like hot rod shows and like classic car shows and stuff like that. And I didn't go in, but I saw the interior of the restaurant like on Google images and stuff. It's like like a door from a NASCAR car, old engines, and like parts are up on, it's like think TGI Fridays, but goofy car shit instead of a moose and some fucking pictures of the local high school football team.
All right, look, if we tore through, I guess Philly, right? Is that the closest?
Yeah.
So actually, we played there once. What was the place we played? Super cool little spot. Kung Fu
Necktie.
Yeah, awesome, rad spot. Mike from another alum of the podcast, Mike from A Million Bands. He was there that night.
Oh yeah, Rid of Me and Fight.
Yes. The new one's Rid of Me. Anyway, if next time we come through there, I think we're gonna have to go get some steak and some lube or whatever they're serving at that place. I've heard too much about it to not go.
Yeah.
And the casino is right across the street. You can go to the casino. You can see some horse racing. It's phenomenal.
Oh shit, we're set. It's a night.
Well, Cory, we just want to say thank you for coming on the show again. You are a true friend of the show. We're very happy to have you back. We love the band. We love you. So thank you.
Likewise, I'm honored to be on again. You guys are my favorite podcast, and let's do it again.
Absolutely.
Cory, thank you so much.
There you have it, folks. Cory Brim. Really great to talk to him again. We couldn't wait for him to come back. That was a really fun conversation. And he really knows the show, Tommy.
I was going to say, he's like a real
really
fan.
knows the show.
He like really knows it. Like he was like doing some real inside baseball shit. I was like, damn, dude, like you really listen. Fuck.
Yeah, and it was just nice to talk to him as a friend and fan of the show. And of course, us as such big fans of Glassing, because the new album is fantastic. Can't wait for everybody to hear it. And there's really not a bad thing I can say about that conversation.
The other thing is I can't say a bad thing about Glassing. Like they're like, they combine everything I like about music. They're the perfect mix of post-rock and shoegaze and black metal and just fucking noise rock, like everything. Like they just fucking do everything perfectly. It's all aligned. It's just so well thought out and so smart. I love it.
It really is. I was thinking about it earlier today. They're sort of like Cave-In in that they combine a lot of elements perfectly, but whereas Cave-In is more big arena metal rock type thing, Glassing is more like menacing, darker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like more in that black metal type realm. It's just great.
They really are. They're definitely it right now. If somebody asked me my top 3 bands, Glassing is 100% in my top 3, maybe even my top band.
I'll never forget hearing Sleeper for the first time. That was like a eureka moment for music where I listened to the song 1,000 times and sent it to everybody I knew. And I love those moments.
Yeah, they really, it's there's very few bands out there that make me feel like Glassing does.
Exactly. So Cory, great to speak to you. And we look forward to the next time you're on the show. Now, there's more ground to cover, Tommy, here in segment 3. Oh, I have to tell you the story about...
I was going to say your root canal story, please.
Yeah. So I went and got it done. The dentist was great. I loved him. He was funny. He was professional. He got it done quick. I forgot how weird it is to get a root canal. Like you're totally numb and you can just feel someone jamming something up into your gum and pulling it out over and over again, but you can't feel it.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever gotten one?
I had a root canal when I was really, really young. I think I was 6 when I had it. So I don't. Okay. I don't.
So
remember.
Yeah, it's really weird experience. And I get done, and he's like, "All right, so I'm going to write you a prescription for some codeine and the antibiotic you have to take." And I was like, I'll just take some aspirin. You know, you don't need to write the codeine. And he's like, "No. I'm going to write it. if you wake up in pain, you don't want to be going to the pharmacy at 2 a.m. and it's good. It's good to have around the house, in case you need it. And I'm just thinking, no, it's not.
No, it's a terrible idea, in fact.
But he made a good point. I was like, what if I'm in a lot of pain?
Yeah.
Like, what if I'm in a lot of pain and I really need to take something? So I was like, here's what I'm going to do. I didn't even tell him to write the prescription. He just kind of did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's like, no, I'm going to do it. And then he just did it. So I was like, all right, I'll go get the prescription. I'm not going to take it unless I absolutely need to.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold on to it just in case.
Until shit is unbearable. Like,
yeah. And like, let's face it, if I'm going out big. Like I did the last time, that the last cycle started. I'm going out big and I'm doing everything at once. I'm not going to go out on codeine. So I go to the pharmacy and I say, I'm picking up for Keith so-and-so. And they're like, okay, we have the antibiotic, but there's a huge back order on the codeine. We're not going to be able to get it. And I was like, that's fine. I don't need the codeine. So the option was completely taken away, which I'm glad.
That is, I was going to say, to not have it there. I will say this. It's funny. I mentioned this to my mom probably last weekend when we had the girl's birthday party. Yeah. I said to her, I was like, oh, I've been having trouble sleeping. My mother showed up tonight just to drop some stuff off. And she was like, oh, I got something for you. Hold on a second. And she opens her purse. It's, of course, in a prescription bottle with the wrong prescription in it. I'm like, what is it? And it's like 30 Ambien. I'm like, Mommy, I'll take, I was like, Mom, I'll take 2. If God forbid I ever need one, I need like 2 of them. And she's like, no, just take the whole thing. I have a whole nother script at my house. And in my head, I'm going like, how many Ambien do you have in your house? Like, I know when I got it, I like years and years ago, and I told my doctor I was having trouble sleeping. I think they gave me 5. And he was like, be really careful with this. They just they handed my mother like 60.
You want to hear an Ambien story?
Yes.
Okay, I read that if you take it and stay awake, you have some really trippy hallucinations. So one day when I must have been like 19 or 20 years old. So my mom was prescribed Ambien. So I took 1 or 2 of them, right? And I was like, I'm going to stay awake and see what happens. And I went into this big hallucinatory thing, right? And I was posting on this message board at the time, not Centrifuge, a different one. And I felt like I was on the cusp of some great big realization. So I got on the message board and I said, everybody needs to join this instant messenger private chat now. And I got everybody in there. And then I was like, okay. And then I lost it. And I was like, guys, whatever realization I was having is gone now. And I just remember everyone messaging like, what are you doing? What's going on? It was so crazy.
This is about to be some epiphany type shit. And then it's nothing.
And then it was gone. Good times.
Well, I'm glad your tooth is better. I'm really glad to hear that. There's nothing worse than dental pain, dude.
Yeah, the pain is almost gone. I'm just taking 2 or 4 Advil per day. Good. I'm getting the cap on soon. I'm going to handle any other little things that are going on, and I'm going to be in perfect shape. And everything is good, Tommy. I've got all my equipment set up. I'm improving everything. Life is good. Work is good. I really don't have any complaints right now.
I'm really glad to hear that. And also, I hurt my shoulder at the skate park on Sunday morning. Well,
what happened?
You heard me. It was such a dumb little thing. I don't do the big shit anymore. No handrails, nothing like that. I really like this one manual pad they have there though. And a manual is like the one where you you balance on the one side of the board, right? So you balance on the back wheels or the front wheels. So just a regular manual. And I don't know if somebody had overwaxed the top of that area and was trying to do another trick there, but I hit something that was so slippery and the board just shot out straight from under me and legs up in the air. My ass was higher than my head, that type of fall. And I fell not really I fell hard, but I fell mainly on my back, but I tried to brace myself with my arm and I jammed my shoulder. So my arm went straight and it didn't hurt my wrist and my arm as much as it hurt where it impacted up at the top at my shoulder. So I literally just came back from the bathroom and I went to go sit down and Keith was like, you hurt yourself. And I was like, I did. Like when I went to go sit down on the couch, I braced myself with my bad shoulder, and it was like that wincing type of pain. It's like immediate, it's gone, and then it's it's there and then it's gone. It's instantaneous, but it's like, fuck, man, it's such a sharp pain. Maybe it's time that I get like not a longboard, but like a cruiser board, and I just roll around the park and have fun doing, just roll up and down the ramps and stall a couple places. No more trying tricks, no more ollies, because I think I'm at that point now where if I hurt myself, it might be a lasting injury, and I don't want to be sitting on my front porch at 70 and someone go, "Here, Dad, let me help you up." Like,
You have to be careful. You already lost what? What was it? The spleen?
my spleen is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we're big time podcasters. I can't lose you, Tommy.
I mean, if you can prop me in front of a mic, like I think I'll be all right.
Yeah, that's true. I guess even if you're a quadriplegic, you could still do the show.
Yeah, I just need someone to set the mic up for me and do the levels and press the buttons.
Yeah, all right, go nuts then. I don't care. No, just be careful. Just
I
be
will.
careful.
I appreciate your concern. And it's when I came home, I do my best to not let on when I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Because I know that will elicit the "you're too old for this. Please stop going." So I was helping, like by the time, I get there at like 6:15. So I was home by a little bit after 8:00 in the morning, and I started making breakfast for the girls because they had just woken up. So I started making breakfast, and I went to go open the refrigerator door, and just that pulling motion to open the door, I kind of winced a little bit, and I was like, and my wife was like, what's the matter? And I was like, I fell at the skate park and my shoulder hurts a little bit.
See, Tommy, if you have to hide it, that's kind of addicty behavior. Like, oh, there's nothing's wrong, everything's fine. You're like hiding this thing that you can't stop doing, and it's affecting your life in negative ways.
So I'm addicted to skateboarding.
Yes,
I'll go
what
with
it sounds like.
I'll go with that. I mean, I have been. You know what? I thought about this the other day. My mom bought me my first skateboard when I think I was 5 or 6.
Yeah,
and I really haven't been off of one. I mean, even when I quit and stopped doing tricks all the time and trying to like really be good at skating, I was always on a board. Like I always had one in my house, and I was always like at once a week just rolling around having a good time. Like maybe it is addictive.
well, listen, if it makes you happy, that's cool. Just don't hurt yourself. Or try not to.
No promises.
Well, listen, folks, you know what I'm going to ask for, and I'm going to keep asking for it until you give it to us. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the NE Scene. We are on the push to 3,300 followers, and we're getting closer. So thank you to everyone who follows us. And guys, stop unfollowing us. Like we get we'll get 3-4 new followers, and then I notice it ticks back down. Just stay followed to us, even if you don't like us. I need to get to 3,300. It's going to make me happy. Follow us on Twitter too, the NE Scene. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Please subscribe if you listen. We need to get our subscriber count way up. We need to do it. Like the videos, comment on the videos if you dig them. Even just clicking the like button helps out. Apple Podcast reviews are big. Give us 5 stars. Leave a review. We'll read it on the air. And write to us. We haven't really heard directly from the people too much lately. northeastscene@gmail.com. Talk to us. Let us know what we're doing well, what we're not doing well. Share a funny story with us. We will read it on the air.
Yeah, we always appreciate the feedback, constructive or not. Just tell us how we're doing.
Yeah. So that's it, Tommy. We did it. Another show in the books. Now, we have some big shows coming up.
Oh, yeah.
A big run of shows. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'm going to give you a hint. Are you ready? 2 words. Northeast Takeover.
There you go.
Yeah. It's in there. If you dig, if you know what's going on, you'll figure out what's going on. And you're going to like it. I'm excited. Are you excited, Tommy?
I'm ecstatic.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
I can't wait.
Same here. All right. Well, that's it. We hope everybody has a great week, and we'll be back next week, as we always are, because this is a weekly show, Tommy. I think we're the only weekly music podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like every single week, new episode.
That's crazy. I honestly, I don't listen to enough podcasts to know that, but I do know this. I was on the Spotify account that you let me use. I accidentally was thinking I was on something else, and I wasn't really paying attention. I typed my last name in. Did I tell you this already?
No.
Yeah, there's a podcast with my last name in it. Yeah, and it has a lot of listens, like very close to 1 million listens.
Well, we're going to get there too after this month.
You bet.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks everybody for listening. And until next time.